Well, you can't make this up, can you? Here we are in the middle of history. The world is changing. Life as we know it has changed. It seems like it's almost a blink of an eye. But I believe that many of us felt some change was going to come. We as light workers, as beings of light, we cannot run around and say, oh, we're ramping up our frequency, we're shifting energy. We can't expect we're going to say that and nothing happens. So something's happening. And to all of you who are closed up in your homes and feeling a little anxious, this too shall pass. We are here because we are citizens of the planet. And together, as citizens of the planet, we made a conscious choice that we would be here at this time. So if you were not ready for it, if you were not strong enough, courageous enough, intuitive enough, you wouldn't have chose this lifetime to be here. So understand that each one of you, all of us, we have a purpose. And we're all here to make a difference in mankind, in the evolution. Perhaps as humans, the world took a turn and we needed to do a little reset. I've heard many people talking about a reset. Some people talking about the internet being down for 10 days. I don't know where that's coming from. And if we do have a moment of internet silence, you're never silent between your conversation of you and God and the angels. So we'll never be down on frequency regardless of what happens. We will always be connected. You can pull up in front of your vision the picture of something that you want to connect, and you can feel the person. You can feel the energy of the experience. You can, as they say, teleport somewhere else. What this experience is teaching us is to go within and find the answers for ourselves. Just because it's being said on the television does not always make it the truth. Your truth. It may be someone else's truth, and that's quite all right. But when you look at the numbers climb, and they're climbing, it doesn't have to be. It's not your reality. It's not something that you want to invite into your frequency. So pay attention to what is being in your energetic field at any given time. It's not just about wearing gloves and masks and staying locked up in your home, because we cannot do that forever. Life will resume. It is about knowing how to protect yourself energetically and building an awareness of what feels good for you and what does not. What makes you feel tuned to God and your angels and what does not. What you desire your reality to be and what you do not want. And given this, none of us really want this. True. But here we are. So what can you glean from this experience? What can you take away to improve your personal life? What can you do without? What would you like your life to look forward, moving forward, so that you're always feeling this sense of connection and joy? I know. How, in a time like this, can I talk about joy and happiness? Happiness is an inside job. It is a sense of connectivity, a sense of knowing. So wherever you are connected. Whoever you're with, you're connected. Whatever you're thinking, you're connected. Whatever you're speaking, you're connected. And your feelings are the biggest energetic force of all of that. So fear is asking you to grab hold and lose yourself in it and say, oh no, not today, not on my watch. This can't happen. This is not me. Oh, heck no. Because fear does not live here in the being of the soul, because the soul knows, the inner knowing knows that all is well. Even though we're in a pandemic and it appears to be some pandemonium, we can see it, but it doesn't have to be part of your reality. There's a lot of theories out there, a lot of thoughts, and I'm most certainly not here to dismiss anyone's interpretation. But if something doesn't feel right, hear right, see right, then don't buy into it. Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. Everything is good. Everything is good because you're good. I know there are things in the world that we all must face. I know there are responsibilities, putting food on the table, bringing money into our homes, paying for the roof over our head, putting gas in our car, paying our car payments, our credit card debt, whatever it may be. But when you peel all that away, first and foremost, being connected automatically makes you good. Being connected automatically tunes you into other blessings, other ways to generate revenue and food and ideas. It's a better way. We've been conditioned to rely on external forces to supply, when all the supplies you need are between you and the heavenly creator. It's your agreement, your covenant. So what have you decided to do during this time? Your family is so important. Your friends. It's your connection to them. And the joy that you bring them during this time. You know, people are getting really creative. They're joining together and singing and dancing. Musicians are streaming. Comedians are telling jokes and trying to lift the spirits. We're seeing our newscasters broadcasting from their living room with their cat walking in front of the computer. I can relate to that. We're seeing people be real, be raw, be authentic. We can't hide behind all the poshness of life, because a lot of that has been scaled back. We're seeing that people have real lives and real parts of life, and that no individual is any different than the other. And though our interpretation of this experience, that which we are part of and how we are living it, may be different. It may be based on where you live, maybe your financial wellness. It may be based on the comfortability of your home in a situation such as this. Not everyone is prepared for a catastrophe. Not everyone is ready for a surprise. So what if you weren't ready? What if when you lost your job you don't have much? And now you're in this state of, what am I going to do? I can do it for a day or two, but I can't do it for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. And that's when the mind begins to take us down a journey. What a dark path that is. But this is where you get to hunker down and go in your internal bunker and have a conversation with God, because you're wired for survival. And I don't mean fight or flight. I don't mean fear-based. I mean you're wired for creation, for inspiration. There are so many people around you. There are so many people you have helped who have helped you. We have intermingled so much that, well, to our dismay, that helps spread a virus. But those connections are still there. And you don't have to go through this alone. You can lend someone a hand. Someone can lend you a hand. Each one of us has something we're going to have to navigate. Each one of us has obligations and situations that were in motion in the physical world. We've been conditioned that may need us to take a look at it and make a change. Change how we handle it, what we do, or whether we let go and let God. We've become conditioned that the things we have, the home we have, the cars we drive, they define us. But in this darkest hour of mankind, which this is right up there, we are defining ourselves based on our character, based on our capacity to love, to be of service to others. Not by how we handled the catastrophe financially, or whether we had pasta or filet mignon. We're far beyond that right now. It's what did you do for your neighbor? Do you have an extra roll of toilet paper? Do you have a bundle of paper towels? Do you have some extra gloves you can give someone so that when they go out and they have to touch things, they could at least have a pair of gloves on? What do you have that you can give? And if you don't have things, who are you and what can you share of you to make the world a better place? It's not the things you buy for people. It's who you give them as your gift to them. The essence of you. The authenticity, the truth, the beauty, the playfulness, the inspiration, the cheering on, the ability to not take everything personally and allow people to be who they are. We're all handling this crisis in a different way. Not everyone is going to be calm. Everyone processes stress differently. But no matter how you process, I encourage you, go within. Go within and ask God for the answer for you. Not what the newscaster said. What's your answer? Ask God, how shall I provide here in this physical embodiment? How can I care for my family? Ask God. And then give it to God. And if you don't have an answer that comes to you in your intellectual mind or that pops up undeniably within your knowing, then there'll be a knock on the door. There'll be someone who God will send as the angel to brighten your day, to make a difference, to say, hey, do you need anything? Maybe you've always been the person who's done for everyone else. And now you feel alone. And maybe, just maybe, your ego, yeah, that pesky little personality of an ego, is making it difficult for you to say, help. Like the Beatles say, help, I need somebody, help. Not just anybody, help. You can ask for assistance. And not everybody will be able or maybe even willing. And judge them not, because that's where they are. But don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid in a time like this, when the whole purpose of this experience, I know we'll hear many reasons why we're going through this spiritually, but the real purpose, the whole purpose, is to connect us to love, to connect us to God, to connect us to life in its simplicity, the actual blessing of the breath of life, that which we take for granted. And the things that we've chosen to do to our physical body then now looking back, oops. We just all started to get on board that the body was a temple a few years ago. Now we have the health craze. And people are using it as great opportunities to build businesses and inspire others. But there's so many that have not regarded the body as sacred. And now the physical vehicle required to carry the soul, the spirit, the heart of you is being compromised. What have you taken for granted? And no, this is not a punishment from God. We're not being punished. It's an experience, one that you are equipped to handle. Even if when you look at the physical challenges you may have right now, you don't know how you will handle, the how is up to God. That's God's job. If you, the human, have no answers, then let God handle it. Talk to your angels. But do what you know to do. It is a time to find your inner strength. It is a time for you to sort through information that is being conveyed to you and literally put it in a yay or nay pile. This is part of my reality. This is not. This is my interpretation. This is not. This is applicable to me. This is not. And I don't mean the medical guidelines of hand washing and staying home and doing your best to not spread this. It doesn't mean because you feel you in your lifetime are not meant to endure this, which many will know that to be their truth, that you run around recklessly, subjecting yourself to the possibilities. You just adhere what's best for you and follow the necessary guidelines, knowing that everything else will work out. For many businesses, it was difficult to close doors. There was a sense of letting people down, a sense of laying off employees and causing a disruption in people's livelihoods. But there also was a responsibility that had to be taken. And each person had to do what they needed to do at a time. But rest assured, there's, especially in the small business arena, there's not a small business owner that closed their doors that didn't sit there and say, oh, here we go. Because there's so much associated with a small business. There isn't a person who made the decision to know their parent is in a nursing home and say, well, I can't go see them, and the nursing home locked down because it's better for the patients. It's better for the residents. Those were hard decisions, but necessary ones. Sometimes in life we have to take decisions that are our least favorite, but we know it's better for the greater good. And this is an opportunity for mankind to excel and to go for the greater good, to serve us as a whole, not just an individual, me, mine, my world, my family. We each have a great opportunity to be of service to mankind simply by the choices we make today, tomorrow, and the days to come as to whenever this comes to a close. And explore your gifts. Because the choices you make now open up new doors of inspiration and transformation. It's not just an elevation of frequency. It's an opportunity to be an active member of your personal transformation. Many times we give our personal transformation over to someone else, a spiritual guru, leader, a yoga instructor, a physical instructor for workouts, a nutritionist, a doctor. We have to go outward to create the shift inward. Well, everyone, there's no outward. There may be those you can reach by phone who can guide you and nudge you. But right now, each person is being asked to go in and look at what requires transformation and apply the skill set that you already have. That which you've learned through this existing life and that which is already pre-wired within. It's so amazing. It's so amazing that each one of you has so much more than you ever imagined. You have untapped gifts and abilities. A whole new life can come from this for you. You could be the next inventor, the next artist. You could be the next, well, whatever you want it to be. You can do that. In just this short time, a whole new world could be created just for you. Your reality could change. And right now, I know that many of us are looking at our reality as how we think it will change moving forward once we come out of this pandemic. Do you really know? You don't. As a whole, we will view things differently because we will have the conditioning and the memory of this experience moving forward. It could be our educator. It could be our defeater. We could allow it to make us a victim, or we can allow it to propel us to our own individual and collective victory. What do you choose? I choose victory. I choose a new paradigm, a new way of being, a kinder, loving, more gentle earth that respects Mother Nature even more, honors the animal planet, blesses our waters, and cares for the human physical body, and is open to a new way of thinking and being. And perhaps new careers will be born from this, new ideas, an opportunity to be more creative and not look at life as this mundane activity that we do day in and day out. We get up, we get our life going, we go to work, we earn a paycheck, we come home, we get life going at home, and then we use the money we earn to pay the bills that we have become enslaved by and start all over again the next day. It's a chance for you to decide moving forward how you want to live your life. And when this is done, am I saying that the very next day life will go back to normal, but a better normal? We're going to ease into it like anything. And in the transitionary time, it's so important that you don't readapt the old habits, the old ways of thinking and being and treating others, and how you even look at money. We look at money as I do, I get, I do, I get. We don't look at abundance as this ever-flowing, energetic being that is always available to us, this energetic frequency that is always provided. You think you, the person, are the one doing it. I go to work and I earn my paycheck. You are blessed to be a physical being that has talents and gifts that can generate revenue. But go beyond that now. Don't be enslaved to the day-to-day routine, because as we've all seen, every one of us, when you break the routine and we go to change it and there is no routine, we don't know what to do with ourselves, do we? Some of us are going out of our minds, pacing back and forth, wondering when is it going to end, what's going to happen, what am I going to do when I come out of it? You can use that thought process if that makes you feel better. But I believe if you go to the thought of, okay, I've got some downtime, can't do anything about what's going on now, can't change it, but what would I like to change? If I had a magic wand, if I could paint the walls white and start all over again in my life, what could it look like? This is an opportunity, a reset, a redo. It's a big moment. And I feel like we're being bombarded by the big moment of fear, the big bad wolf, the big bad virus. I feel like we're being bombarded by that more than we are being made aware that beneath the surface lie opportunities for greatness. Beneath the surface lies an opportunity to really be the person you've always wanted to be. For some of you, maybe your job won't resume for quite a while, and you'll be forced to reinvent yourself. For others, there's a different way of approaching your task of job as you move forward. Some of you always wanted to work from home. How's that working for you these days? Not as easy as you thought. And how close is that refrigerator to your desk? Yeah, there are challenges from working from home. But now you get to see a different way of being, an easier way of being. And now society as a whole is going to morph. The workplace will morph, how we interact with each other. But it doesn't mean that we'll always have a 6-foot rule, social distancing. It means that we will be made more aware, and it's interesting that it's 6 feet, and I want to draw your attention to that. Your auric energy goes about 3 to 6 feet. What this is teaching you is, who am I allowing to come into my energetic circle? And are we a vibrational match? And is that an energetic exchange I want in my life? I know they're giving you medical reasons why you want to keep your distance. And I get it. But what are the energetic components of this experience? What can you glean from this? How important is your energetic field, your aura? And have you even given that any thought? Have you ever stopped to think that when you walk into a building or a retail store and you're standing next to someone and you start to feel uncomfortable and tight, that maybe it's the energy of that person is clashing with yours? That doesn't mean that you have to say, hey, you've got bad energy. It means there's a difference in frequency of each individual. It means that at that moment, you take a step and you create more energetic space. And when you create space, you allow the divine energy to flow around you, inspire you, protect you. You see, we've all been in each other's business so much. We all think we know it, right? We all know everything. Telling everyone what to do, where to go, how to put it together, collaborating. But sometimes the energy is squeezing out the connectivity. And this is giving us an opportunity to deepen the connection, to explore possibilities, and to go into our heart space, to clear out our solar plex, to clear out those power struggles that maybe you've been having for quite some time. Just clean it out. Cut the cords of energy that bond you to other people. Let's cut it. That old person that you still think about that isn't in your life after all these years, make peace with it and let it go. They're not in your life because they're not meant to be in your life. That old job or thing you loved to do that you evolved and now have left behind, but you're still holding on to the memories, take the joyous feeling of that past experience and translate it into the new version of you. But don't keep looking back. Look forward. Look beyond where we are now. For where we are now will pass. Envision a better future. And please, remember, it's the power that you are is the power of our planet. And we are not just citizens of a country. We are not just people of a state trying to block each other off and cut things out. We are citizens of one whole planet. And say to yourself, I am a citizen of this planet. I am a citizen of the planet, and my energy, my frequency, my voice, my thoughts, my feelings, they count, they matter. And they are the tool, the greatest tool to create the shift of change. Isn't that what we want to create? Isn't that what we want to shift? You don't have the tools to defeat a virus, but you've got the energy and the power to transmute it and change the world just by what you think, by what you feel, by what you say, by the energy of love, by adhering to honoring the physical body, the temple that is the expression of God. It is your opportunity to make a difference. And no, someone may not ever know your name, and they may not know who you are and how you sat in your room and envisioned a better world and thought of love and peace and health and healing and the little faces of children and animals, and saw the beautiful waters clean and purified, and the sky bluer than blue, and the moon brighter than bright, and the sun strength and warmth. No one will ever know what you thought and felt in these days, but you will. God will. And the frequency will shift, and everything will change. Yes, we're practicing what they're asking us to do. But if you practice what Spirit is suggesting, envisioning, shifting, holding the energy differently, then whatever that curve is that we're heading for, we can cut it. We can shift it. We can transmute it. We can annihilate something that scientists can't even wrap their heads upon, because we are choosing a different path, a different frequency. And we're choosing the force of love, which in essence, light, love, God, synonymous. They are the same word. They have the same frequency. They have the same meaning. So when you invoke the power of God, when you say, I am a child of light, when you say, I am love, you're invoking the force that fuels an entire universe. A universe, by the way, that has millions and millions of viruses. They too serve a place. Although going through this, we're scratching our heads going, really? What? But you have a power to choose the power of love over fear, to choose a good mindset, safe practices, and inspiration and creativity. You have that power. You were not powerless because you were told to go in your house and stay there. They actually gave you back your power. You just don't know it yet. You haven't figured that out yet. But it's your power. You're in your own sanctuary, your own inner being, your own inner knowing. And I'm sorry, if you don't look in the mirror and don't like yourself, then learn to love yourself. If you don't like what's looking back at you, this is your time to change. If you don't feel that you've lived your purpose, this is the time to get on board. If you don't believe that you're capable of letting go of the past, well, it's you and your past locked up in your room right now. So if there was ever a time to work on cutting the cords, I seriously advise you to let it go. To let it go and honor you. To nurture the inner self, the inner knowing, the inner child that has only come for love. And sometimes, some of us, depending on our lives, well, we think we got a raw deal. We didn't really get much love. Maybe that's your story. And this is the power to give you the power not only to love yourself and to forgive the experiences, but to feel an unprecedented, wonderful flowing amount of love for mankind. To be able to, even though you know not what it is to walk in another's shoes, to feel empathy and compassion and truly send love. Not the love that has been projected by movies and television. Mwah, love you, baby, love you, baby. The love that needs no words. The love that can be felt in that 3 to 6 foot auric energy everywhere you go. The love that is magnetic, that requires no touch. It's just felt by all who surround you. Because you truly, in this time up on our planet, have chosen to be a child of love. Not a child of fear and conditioning and hate and judgment, but a child of love and creativity and light and compassion and empathy and awareness. Everyone, it's your time to shine. And those of you on the feed who've been saying, I'm a light worker, well, shine your light. For there is a light. There's a light in you, there's a light in me, and there's the greatest light shining down upon our planet right now. So you can choose to dig into the news or tune up to the light. Your choice. A little bit of information is really all you need. Grab the valuable information, whatever you can fit in a little box. That's all you need. And do the work. Celebrate life. Celebrate you. And know that everything will be all right. And eventually, this too shall pass. We are love and we are light. And we are here. We are here to be of service to you on our Sunday Fun Day. We packed up our cars and headed over, adhering social distancing, set up our center so that we could continue to broadcast to all of you and connect. Because that frequency that we send out, that frequency that you send back to us, that's the frequency that's shifting the planet. And we believe that. We know that to be true. And each one of us is navigating change. But there's a certain level of love and light that requires consistency, discipline. You need to be consistent. And so we, in this time, have chosen to sustain and maintain our And we're working on ways to become even more reachable, available, connected to you. And we're grateful that we, if you want to talk curve, we've been ahead of the curve. And we established a rapport through various social media networks so that we can stay connected and that you know that we're here for you. And here to answer your questions, of which there are many. But when you're asking your questions, and I haven't looked at the feed to see the questions that are there, but when you're asking your questions, think about what question you really want to ask. Do we want to ask that same old question about that same old partner that's still not getting a clue because they may be part of the reason why you are locked up by yourself and they're over there, so you could take a good look at whether you really ever want to go back over there. So think about your questions. What is for your highest good? What would be the greatest bit of insight Spirit could give you right now during these unprecedented, challenging times? What's the message that will take you to your next level? What's the question that's in your heart, that's in your soul? Well, your soul has the answers, but your soul's prompting the question going, hello, we got more important fish to fry, whether your boyfriend's coming back. This is an opportunity for you to be the person you've always come to be. What question is important to you? And what messages does Spirit have for us collectively as a conscious group? We're going to take a look at that. We're going to tune in and put we're going to put some cards down and we're going to tune in, and I think we'll hear some songs and get some music from Spirit. I'm pretty sure we've got a lot coming for you today. But what answer, what guidance do you seek today that can best create the energy in order for you to move forward in this experience and not be the victim of the circumstance, but be the victor of the experience and let it raise you to new heights? I know this is not for the faint of heart, this whole experience. But again, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be a part of this global experience if you were not ready to do it. So have some faith in yourself. Have some faith in mankind. Believe that which you cannot see, that you believe in, is greater than that which you think you see that is filled with fear. Choose wisely. It'll make all the difference moving forward.